Reaper, my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. So over on total, if we can hop over there for the daily, we did get another rejection of that resistance area. So I would watch for a continuation down, as this is a bearish engulfing candle, and if followed by a strong red candle, we could continue to tumble back down to our previous support, which would be right around that 822. Our VWAP is trying to break bearish. Momentum is rounding with a double red dot due to VWAP pulling back. So if that VWAP continues to drop from here, then that money flow is likely going to start to weaken, as momentum will start to drop away and money flow can go from green into the red, showing we have bearish pressure and more selling pressure than buying pressure. But if we look here at the 1 hour, the MPP does project there is a 60% chance of pushing up near that 1 trillion area, just like we said we could potentially see last night. Our VWAP does want to gain some strength. We do have higher lows with a higher high, so ideally we would stay above the neutral from here in order to continue a bullish trend and continue forward, with this being a higher low and then following with that 1 trillion area as our higher high. Momentum does want to push forward and money flow is in the green, so if that VWAP does stay bullish, then we will continue forward and see a continuation up. But if we hit that resistance again and we reject it, I would watch out, as that would be a consistent high that could end up rejecting if we saw a lower low following that. So right now we are seeing higher highs or higher lows with consistent highs. So we are trying to make, you could draw a rising triangle here actually. And a rising triangle is a bullish pattern. So that trend line is going to be our top. And then you would measure from the bottom up to that line, and that'll give you your breakup point, which again in line with that MPP and our projection from last night. So there would be a decent chance of breaking forward. But again, if you're going to trade on this pattern, you trade on the breakout, the retest, and then when you get that bounce is when you typically jump in on your pattern trade. But over on Bitcoin, you could jump in now if you want. But remember, if you do jump in early, there are other risks to take into consideration, and you do want to make sure you have your stop losses in place. But over on Bitcoin futures for the daily, we are pretty indecisive here as well. Momentum is starting to round away. That VWAP does look like it does want to weaken, so I would watch if that VWAP breaks down. Momentum will start to round away and money flow will break down. Again, that would give us an environment for strong red candles to push down toward that 90K, 92K area where that next gap is. Again, if we cannot hold this range, that's probably our next stop. So over on the 1 hour, it does look like we do have a chance to hit about 108K. So we could retest those previous candle widths. Excuse me. So that would be a higher high. That would be positive. But with that being our current all-time high, I would watch for some sort of a kind of rejection in that area. I'm not saying it has to happen, but when we got back up to around that 69K level from the previous bull market, it did take like 2-3 tries to break through that. It took about a month in order to break through that area. Our momentum does want to push forward. VWAP is gaining strength and the money flow is in the green. So we do look positive, providing we don't get any bearish engulfing candles and see some bearish indicators start to form here. So over on Bitcoin for the daily, it does look like we could try to kind of blast off. So we did have where we push up, consolidate, push up, consolidate, push up. We are consolidating, so hopefully that would continue and we would get another push up from here. But that trend may get overextended. Right now, we may draw a rising channel from this actually, and if we can, then that would be a little worrisome. Actually, we can't because our tops do not connect and neither do the bottoms. So that is positive because that's a bullish continuation, and bullish continuations do try to push you up and the trend is your friend until it ends. The hard part is figuring out when that ends. So our VWAP does have a higher high. We do look like we do want to make a lower low, a higher low, but watch out as we are starting to push down and we aren't showing signs of curling forward right now. If we don't curl forward in the next couple days, then we could see a consistent low, and that would reject the chance of a bullish continuation or a bullish channel where we get higher highs and higher lows. Momentum does want to pull back. That money flow is in the green, but again, watch these lower time frames. Over on the 1 hour, we are pretty overextended here. We have hit this resistance several times. We are failing to break down, and we are holding a little bit bullish momentum as that momentum is overall pushing up. That VWAP is gaining strength, but just watch out if this VWAP gets a lower high. If we get a lower high on our VWAP, then we could see bearish momentum, but providing that VWAP does stay bullish, the MPP does project on the lower time frame, we could push to about that 105K, and then if we continued past that and we got that bullish momentum to stay there, that's where we could see that 108K that we saw in futures. So if we look over at graph for the daily, it does look like we do have an MPP projection that we could reject. There is a high chance of breaking that support level of that 11 cents. Our VWAP is in the bullish territory, but it's very close to that neutral, so watch the lower time frames. Momentum does want to round with a double red dot, suggesting it does want to come back down, and if that does happen, money flow will weaken and price will likely follow, as that shows we have more selling pressure than buying pressure. Over on the 1 hour here, our MPP is counter to the daily's MPP. So again, that does show why you don't want to just trust it just because it shows up. But this MPP does project we could make a retest of that 4316 area, just shy of it at about 14 cents. So that VWAP is bullish right now, but that wave on the bullish side is very weak. I would watch that very closely because if we reject and stay under the neutral here, momentum will remain bearish and money flow will end up breaking into the red. That would weaken those higher time frames. But if that VWAP can manage to get a higher low and then continue with a higher high afterwards, then we could push forward and see that bullish scenario. Now, I would warn against a rejection of the value area low because that is in the cards right now. So there is only about a 30% chance of that happening. But remember, you do want to watch things very closely and use more than one indicator at a time. So over on XRP for the daily, real quick, if you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe. We are retesting that support level that we drew the other day, so this is proving to be a solid area. We did explain why that was, because we did have many candle bodies and candle wicks touching down in the same area from previous consolidatory moves. That VWAP is starting to pull back. That momentum is starting to round, so I would watch that VWAP. If that VWAP continues to push down here, momentum will lead that money flow further into the red, and that would give us an environment for strong red candles. Now, counter to that long lower shadow candle we had yesterday, we have a long upper shadow candle, and this long upper shadow candle shows the inverse, so it shows bulls tried to push us up, and the bears stepped in and dropped us down. So I would watch out for a strong red candle. If we get a strong red candle here, then it's likely this could form a rounding top, at which point that MPP is projecting we could retest our Fibonacci level, and if we can't hold bullishly at that point, then that's where we would push down toward those lower $2 ranges. The MPP is projecting about $1.50, but I would say somewhere more in that $2 is more likely, that $2 like 280 range. Now, over on the 1 hour, it does look like we are trying to get higher highs with consistent lows, so we're trying to push off, but we're starting to struggle. I would watch out for this to be a head and shoulders with a very short shoulder, as that could try to give us a breakdown. The MPP is projecting right around that 250. VWAP does want to push bullish. We do have a kind of weak high, but the positive note is we did bounce off that neutral. So if this current candle can flip bullishly, we could see that VWAP make a bounce and continue forward. But if the next couple candles break bearish and we break this support level, then that red dot in our momentum will lead us lower and money flow will start to weaken, and that's where we could see those lower targets. Now, last but not least, if you haven't already, again, please hit the like and subscribe. We have Anchor. We are starting to retest our support level here as well, and the MPP is projecting a retest of the previous kind of jump up. Stochastic is starting to make a round away. We do have that orange above blue, so that is a bearish cross. RSI is starting to drop lower, and our VWAP is starting to pull back. So with that VWAP pulling back, I would watch for it to break through that neutral. If it breaks through neutral, momentum will continue to round away here, and that money flow will stay in the red, which does show again that we have further selling pressure than buying pressure, and that the bears are in control. Now, over on the 1 hour, it does look like we are attempting to stay above the support level of that 20 cents, so that is positive. we might have a little mini gap right here about 21.61. So hopefully we could jump up, fill that, and then continue forward. Our MPP is projecting a low chance of hitting about 24 cents though. That VWAP does want to break into the bullish territory, that yellow wave, and if it rejects here, momentum will stay bearish, money flow would break into the red, and price will start to push down toward our support, potentially breaking it. But if that VWAP can break through and hold, getting higher highs with higher lows, then momentum will gain strength and money flow could make a bounce, preventing it from breaking into bearish territory and potentially giving strength back to those higher time frames over time. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great night. Hit the like and subscribe and join us in that Discord.